Times front page for Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. D.C. politicians are scrambling to shore up support among their Democratic allies in Congress ahead of a likely vote next week in the Senate on an overhaul of the city's criminal code. Matt Delaney reports the measure has been approved by the D.C. Council, but is being criticized by Republicans as being soft on crime. A Republican-authored bill would block the changes to the criminal code, which would reduce penalties for some violent crimes. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser proposed an amended code with harsher penalties last month, weeks after the D.C. Council overrode her veto of the original rewrite in January that invited congressional objections. Staying on Capitol Hill, House Republicans have advanced a plan to empower parents with a Parental Bill of Rights. Kerry Pickett reports the bill would force state education agencies to post curricula for all grade levels on a publicly accessible website and make widely available a list of parents' rights regarding their children's education. The legislation is Republicans' answer to the rift between parents and school administrators that began with COVID-19 restrictions. The measure is unlikely to move forward in the Democratic-controlled Senate. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot is the first sitting Windy City mayor to lose re-election since 1989 and the latest casualty of a raging debate over the pandemic-era surge in violence in many cities. Seth McLaughlin reports analysts say Lightfoot misread her margin of victory, winning 70% of the vote in 2019, as an all-out mandate. They said she fought with almost everyone who challenged her approach, including the teachers' union and law enforcement. On Tuesday, Lightfoot pulled in only 17% of the vote in a 9-candidate race. You can read all of these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. And a quick programming note, the front page will be off from Monday, March 6th through Wednesday, March 15th. Attorney General Merrick Garland said he has deployed the FBI to track down those responsible for attacking crisis pregnancy centers. Jeff Murdoch reports Garland defended his department's prosecutions of protesters at abortion clinics to the Senate Judiciary Committee and insisted he deliver the same treatment to those who vandalize Catholic churches and pregnancy centers if the FBI could find them. Garland said the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which his department uses for prosecutions, applies equally to those who block abortion clinics and pregnancy centers. He acknowledged that his department has many more cases against protests at abortion clinics, but said that it's not intentional. And finally, senior Army leaders insist they're not spoiling for a fight with China, but want Congress and the country to know they have an important role to play in the Pacific if hostilities break out. Mike Glenn reports the Army has been shifting its attention to the Indo-Pacific region since the Obama administration announced a pivot to the Pacific after 2 decades in Iraq and Afghanistan. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the need to bolster Ukraine's ability to defend itself have complicated the plans. In terms of China's influence in the region, leaders say they don't believe a Chinese invasion of Taiwan is imminent or easily executed. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app. And find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.